Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Zeeshan and I work with CIOs and senior business leaders to help transform their IT operations so they can get the most value out for their businesses. Now, in my last video, I talked about how the workplace is changing and the people are choosing careers and assignments based upon what interests them and what challenges they want to take upon within their working life. So we are seeing a lot more job role changes. People are moving from one position to the other one a lot more rapidly than perhaps they would have done 20-25 years ago. And I said that with this change of working pattern scenario, the responsibility for personal development also now rests with us, because we now have to identify what our strengths and weaknesses are and how to capitalize upon our strengths so we can get the most value and satisfaction from our working life. Now, in the last video, I touched upon the fact that how important it is to get some feedback to validate what our strengths and weaknesses are, and I showed some methods to how to go about and get that feedback. So today, I'm going to continue upon that topic to see what to do as the next steps once you have received that feedback. And I will be looking at three key things of how you can take that feedback, analyze it, develop a plan, and then measure your progress against that. So we'll be looking at three things around that particular area. So let's get started on that side. The first thing to do is to analyze the feedback. So the feedback you received, people would have said, this is what you're good at, this is where you need some improvement, and now you need to look at the various feedback that you have received, identify the patterns, and take out or pick the key points people have said you are good at, because this will help you validate what you thought you were good at. Do the people see it in a similar manner? And if that it is, then it will help you validate. And there might be things you're not good at, or you think you're not good at, but people think, yeah, you do them exceptionally well. So that helps you validate what your strong points are. Similarly, you then need to look at what are the recommendations people have made for your improvements, and pick out trends from within that. And once you look at those trends, based upon what you are doing with your career, with your job role, pick out the key one or two most important things which you want to work upon from an improvement perspective. Now, the key thing is that not to try and tackle too many things at the same time, because it is very difficult for one person to try and improve multiple things at the same time. Personal development doesn't really happen overnight. It takes some time. So you need to pick out two at the most key important things that you wish to improve upon and you want to focus upon as the weaknesses, and to turn them into strengths. So now that you have identified the areas for improvement, you now need to develop as a second step a plan which will take you through and help you convert those weaknesses into strengths. The first thing to do within the developing of the plan is to basically identify what is the key specific area, the key focus point for you to be improving upon. For instance, I talked about public speaking and communication in my last video, and when I did that, I was very focused and very restrictive and specific in the context I wanted to improve upon. And for me, it was speaking to a group of people in a face-to-face environment when I'm trying to convey an idea or a thought or some other piece of information within that context in a limited amount of time. So I was very specific. You need to be very focused when you pick something up. Again, looking back at my scenario, if I was trying to improve my communication skills as a whole, that would be too wide a goal, because it could be written communication, it could be oral, it could be presentations, it could be public speaking. So there are 4 or 5 different areas within that as well. You need to be very, very clear and focused on what you want to improve upon based upon the feedback you have received. Now, it may be that the feedback isn't very specific enough. It happens, right? You then can go to the person, approach them who has given that feedback across to you, and see if you can clarify the comments they have made. Now, this is where you need to be very, very careful. See, giving feedback sometimes can seem similar to as criticism, and people don't like to receive negative feedback. Similarly, people giving negative feedback or identifying areas for improvement, they may not feel very comfortable. So it is your job when you approach them to clarify that you do not kind of put them at an unease. You want to approach them with the context that Mr. So-and-so or Miss So-and-so, thank you for giving me some feedback. Could I clarify some points in what you have mentioned, because this will help me better tailor my development program. You need to put them at ease so they can open up and explain to you exactly where they think you need to be improving upon. Otherwise, the feedback will be very generic, it might be very broad, and it won't help you hone in on the specific areas where you want to improve upon. Now, once you've got that, you then need to set your target end goal. That target end goal is where what you can measure and you can aim towards. So you want to say in 12 months time or whatever, I want to be able to do X, Y, and Z. It's good to envision a goal because it gives you some specific target to work towards. Try and do that. Otherwise, see, if you don't do that, if you don't have some specific targets or gunning towards, it's just never going to, the plan will never really realistically come into fruition. It will be just you doing a series of activities without any specific direction. So even if you are not 100% sure what the end goal looks like, just put some targets which you can measure over there. Third thing is to identify the series of activities which will help you turn the current state, which is the area of needing improvement, into a strength, and you need to identify a series of activities which will help you take that step. Now, again, to give you an example, let's go back to my speaking situation. When I started off on that, for me as a target goal, I went on YouTube and I looked at some of the public speakers I admire and how they came across to their audience. So I said, you know what, Zeeshan, this is my target end goal. I want to be like so-and-so person. You may have somebody else, but I had some specific people in my mind and I said, okay, I want to be like them. So that was my target end goal, and I listed some characteristics and behaviors that those people depicted in a specific situation. And I said, I want to be able to appear confident from a body language, from how I'm speaking, how I'm coming across, how I dress, how I feel comfortable, all those things. I listed specific sort of things. Again, that was my end goal. Then I went on training courses. To be exact, I went on 2 training courses. One was more around standing up, giving a speech or a talk to a diverse group of people to try and get my point across. Another one, again, was a journal communication course. I then started to read about communication and how to basically get my point across by telling a story and other similar, assistive things that I could do to get my point across. So I did a number of these things, and then I found a mentor. A mentor is somebody who is better in some skill that you're trying to improve. So I found a mentor and I said to that person, I'm trying to improve in this area and I can see you're already depicting some of the behaviors which I'm trying to develop. How would you feel if I would work with you and I would basically bounce my plan, my ideas across with you, and you can validate them since you have already achieved what I'm trying to do? So that really helped, because that helped me guide my plan and the series of activities which I was trying to do and make them more tailored and more specific. Then I basically said, nothing can improve me other than doing or speaking to people more. So I tried to find more and more opportunities where I would go and I would stand in front of people and I would give talks. What that did was that all that other stuff which I learned in the training courses, in the books, and the other videos which I watched, it allowed me to put it into practice. It allowed me to tailor, my communication style, and it allowed me to actually judge how good I was getting. And then after each talk, I got feedback from the few people I could, just to see how I came across, what I did good and what I did not do good. So these were some of the activities which I did to try and improve. So you need to identify similar activities. And I do recommend finding a mentor who can help guide you, or at least bounce some ideas across with you, because that is really, really helpful. The third and the final thing you want to do is that once you are on this personal development journey, you want to go back after 6 months or 12 months, I would say every 6 months, and approach the people who gave you initial feedback, and you want to get some feedback again from them. What this does is that it allows you to check, based upon those people's initial feedback, how much have you improved? And it allows you to track your progress. Are you going as per your plan, or are you requiring more help? Are you doing something wrong, or have you slipped and you've not made as much improvement as you thought? So this is the third thing, to go back to the people who gave you your initial feedback, and then get another feedback and update every 6 months to see and check how much progress you have made. Now, here's one thing. This is a long journey. It's not like a training course where you can go, you can open a book, read through, give an exam. No. A personal development, a journey where you are trying to improve some of your skills, it will take a long period of time. For me, again, being open, I think it took me around about 18 months. And then I felt that compared to where I was a lot more confident. I was so much more better to where I started from. And my comfort zone had grown a lot more larger, and I was comfortable speaking to a lot more people, and even when I was less prepared. But it took me 12 to 18 months to get there. So you've really got to get your head down and work, and that's the only way you're going to achieve something. And that's why I said, pick only 1 or 2 things at the most to improve, because it is a lot of work and effort. But again, let me tell you something, right? Once you even get your feedback or develop a plan, I'm telling you, you have made some amazing strides. A lot of people will not even do that, because to develop a plan and acknowledge that there is something for you to improve upon takes a lot of strength and personal courage. And once you've done that, seriously, that's the hardest part over. The only other thing you need to do is to try and stay consistent with your development work. And basically, I'm telling you, you'll be there for a home run. Now, one thing more, which you'll find interesting, that even though you may not have completed your full personal development plan thing, but even if you are partway through the journey, you will start to see those positive changes within you, and which will really motivate you to go that extra step. At least that worked for me, because from going to a point where I was not comfortable speaking to people to a point where I was a lot more at ease trying to speak to people and convey my ideas, it was really, really good. So again, try and do that. Make sure you keep your head down and power through. Now, I hope you find these points useful. And again, as an open offer to everybody who's watching these videos, if you feel that there is something I can help you in your personal development journey, please do reach out. I will make some time, we'll bounce around some ideas. If you've got a plan, we'll look at that. If you feel I've got some behaviors where you can learn from, amazing. To be honest, I mean, if I feel even if a single person benefits from these videos, I'll be really, really happy. So I hope you enjoyed the video today and you found it useful. Do like the video and subscribe to my channel so you'll be notified when I post more content. And again, leave me some feedback. Until next time, have a nice day. Thank you.